Hello, everybody, and welcome to the North-South Hockey Podcast. It's me, Isles Guy 23, along with Coast to Coast Hockey. This is our first
Hello.
episode, and we're going to be trying to make as many of these as possible and as long as possible, but we can't promise anything. If anybody actually does listen to this, thank you. um, we're both Islander fans, so if there's any bias, sorry. We're going to try to keep that out of this, but if it happens, it happens. We're both going to start uploading more in the next coming weeks and then try to stay consistent with doing different videos and such and collabs together. So, yeah, if anyone has, you have anything to say?
Yeah. No. You want to get into it?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you covered everything pretty much.
All right, so we're going to be starting out. Today we're going to talk about offer sheets, the situations of that, the bad contracts handed out this year, all of the trades that have happened this offseason, what the Devils have done this offseason, and then next season's like outdoor games and what we think about them. So, offer sheets. We got obviously a lot to talk about for the first time in years about that. There's obviously probably 4 or 5 key restricted free agents, including Mitch Marner, Patrick Laine, Brock Besser, Braden Point, and I think Sebastian Aho was one of them who did actually get offer sheeted. We really wanted to get Mitch Marner here, but I don't think it's going to happen because he wants 3 years and we want more. Because if we want to give up 4 first-round picks, you want to, know you're having a guy for more than 3 years. 4 first-round picks is a lot. But
it is.
Yeah, but Braden Point now is the one that's now pretty much topic of conversation that Marner might be holding out for the fact that Vasilevsky just got a big deal, which we'll go to later, but they got to free up space to sign him if they want to. He's probably going to have to get the least money out of all of those guys, but that's why the Islanders should go after him. They've been a team involved in a lot of offer sheeting rumors. But, there was just a trade that we'll go to later that freed up some space. You have anything to say about this? I know you're not really talking right now, but...
Do you happen to know how much Tampa has in cap space?
I do not. I can check. I
think if Tampa can keep him, that's great for them. Because he was a big part of the President's Trophy this year.
With the sweep in the first round.
Yeah. Tied the record for most wins in the regular season and tied the record for the least wins in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, is that a quote from the awards?
It is.
Yeah, well...
Good job remembering.
I don't know, because their team is interesting, because they're still very, very good. And I mean, they gotta win eventually, or they're gonna really run out of space, and they won't be able to do it. But their team is so stacked, and the fact that they got swept, I mean, they didn't have anything to deal with during the regular season. So, I'm looking at the cap.
I had them winning the cup in my bracket.
Oh, I had them losing in the second round to, I believe, Boston. Pretty sure. Where is Tampa? All right, so Tampa has about like $3 million in cap space. I don't know when this last updated, so I'm on a website right now. So I mean, I'm sure they'll figure it out with this trade today. Dumping Callahan's salary because he won't be able to play anymore. Braden Point probably is enough to be re-signed, but I mean, if there's
also with trading away JT Miller.
Yeah, that also helps.
That helped.
Yeah, because I guess they got to keep building through the system. I mean, they keep somehow finding a way to get all these guys, but they're pretty good, and they got to win within the next 3 years, or they really don't have a shot because they're going to need to sell everybody because they won't be able to keep them all together. Same thing with Chicago, like their situation with the cap. With Kane and Taves taking up so much, and they couldn't keep the squad from 2015 together anymore, and they've haven't been the same since, really, after they got swept by Nashville.
Trading away Panarin.
Yeah.
a couple years
That
ago.
was a disaster.
Brought Sod back, but
So, let's move on to Sebastian Aho, who got offer sheeted by the Montreal Canadiens.
I mean, I think Aho deserves maybe $9 million.
I mean, it was worth a shot. I mean, you don't want to give up too much because he's not really like worth like the they gave it was reasonable. Said if they match, if they don't, whatever. Like we'll see. Yeah. It was just a shot in the dark. It was worth it for Montreal because it doesn't really hurt them in any way. Like, so might as well try it. Only giving them a first, second, and third, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Get a good player. But the Hurricanes did the smart thing and they matched it, kept their player. And
especially with Montreal coming so close to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, they were.
Someone like Aho could like really help them.
I mean, that was crazy for them. They were projected to be probably bottom 5 in the league, I guess. I mean, maybe not that low, but people did not expect them to do good, along with the Islanders. But I mean, that was pretty shocking of them. And they got a good kid coming up in Ryan Poehling, who should be pretty good for a while with them. But yeah,
best goals per game average in NHL history.
Yeah, I mean, they should be solid. They should be in the playoffs next year. But yeah, the Hurricanes match. They'll probably be back in the playoffs again, even though I can't stand them. But that's a different story for a different day.
We move on to Mitch Marner.
Yeah, we'll go to Mitch Marner, the big gun out there, who would probably be the only one capable of getting 4 first-round picks in return. I don't know what all the offers were, but I know he did turn one down from the Maple Leafs because he wants Austin Matthews money. But here's the thing: he's not as good as Austin Matthews. So, I mean, he's holding out, trying to get more money, trying to get exactly what he wants, but it's probably not going to happen because it's Toronto's cap situation. But I mean, seems like if he didn't want to be there, he would have been gone already. But I don't know.
I think he's most likely going to stay.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure he's not going anywhere, but hopefully he does. I don't know. There hasn't been many offer sheets that have not been matched in NHL history. I believe it's only like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I know Dustin Penner.
Dustin Penner was one, and I don't. That could be it. I really don't know exactly, but it's not a lot. Along with I don't know. All right, we'll move on to Patrick Laine. Hasn't really been much on that front, really.
Yeah.
But I feel like a team.
I mean, all I'm gonna say, no matter who he signs with, he's gonna be able to buy a lot of V-Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, that did hurt his place. That does make his contract gonna be it's gonna be worth less.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's another thing the Islanders should go after. I know I keep mentioning them, but they're really been involved with the offer sheeting, and they need offense really bad. And I think Laine would be a good fit there, just because they need someone who can score, not like
put
a
him on
playmaker.
A line with Barzal and Lee.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that'd be a possibility, but I mean, he'll probably just re-sign with Winnipeg as well. I don't see Lamoriello doing anything, as he hasn't yet, but. I mean, yeah, and then there's one more in Besser, who's I'm sure is going to be re-signed by Vancouver. There's really nothing there. He's just an RFA.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's other minor RFAs. Like, there's Beauvillier on the Islanders who hasn't been signed yet, but I'm sure that'll be figured out. There's a lot of RFAs you never really hear about because there's really nothing that's going to happen with them. So, yeah, that's offer sheets. A lot going on offer sheets this year. Shall we move on to bad contracts?
Why not?
Okay, so bad contracts. One that I can name off the top of my head right now. Kevin Hayes.
Yes, I don't know what Philadelphia is doing.
Yeah.
But he doesn't deserve that money.
He doesn't. I mean, especially if you look at the Anders Lee contract, which some might say is a reach, and I could understand that. 7 times 7.
I think we overpaid Lee a little bit.
A little bit, but you wanted to make sure he stayed. You didn't want him to lose your captain back-to-back years, and he did want to stay. But he got 7 years, $7 million. I was more concerned about the years part. I was hoping more for like 5 for Anders Lee, but whatever.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Not the
that's
money.
why it took so long.
But the problem we're comparing that in sense to the Kevin Hayes contract is because Kevin Hayes got 7 years for like 7.15 million, I believe it is.
Something like that.
I don't know exactly what it is, but it's bad. I mean, his stats are really not as good as you would think with this contract, but yeah. Any other bad contracts you can name?
Well, I mean, this one, I don't know if it would be. You can't really call it good or bad yet. But I wouldn't sign Nikita Gusev to the contract the Devils did without him even playing in the NHL.
I wouldn't be worried about that. I mean, I really wanted Nikita Gusev myself because we need offense. I know I keep mentioning it, but but yeah, like, I mean, we're gonna get to that later because that's what we're gonna be talking about. But I mean, like, I don't know, how much did he get per year?
He got 4.5. He got 2 years, 4.5 AAV.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I think if you give a lot of money, but it's only a 2-year contract, it's not really like major and things like that, you know.
Yeah, but if I were the Devils, I'd probably just offer 1 year.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe like 4.
I'm sure it'll be fine though.
Yeah.
They did trade for Subban. They have his entire contract, just a whole $9 million. But the Devils looking up. We're not up to that yet, but the Hayes contract is average salary 7, pretty much exactly what I said, like 7.14 million. So, I mean, 7 years, 50 million total. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, his stats aren't really like matching up to that. I mean, if you go to like look at his stats, he probably had like a down year. He didn't really do well in Winnipeg where he got traded to him. Last year he had 19 goals, 36 assists for 55 points. I mean, and if you compare it to the Anders Lee contract again, Anders Lee's stats, I'm sure they were higher. I mean, Anders Lee had a down year not really down, but compared to like season before, he had 28 goals, 23 assists for 51 points. So I guess it's not really comparable, but but still, like Kevin Hayes, you know, I mean, they did trade.
Another very ridiculous contract. Why is Greg McKegg only getting $750,000?
Okay, that's irrelevant.
That's a disgrace. Yeah, we'll discuss that another time.
Yeah.
My obsession with Greg McKegg.
Yeah, that's a different story. But some other contracts. We'll just go through regular contracts now. Like, if you look, Panarin took less money to go with the Rangers. I'm still salty about that, but that's where he wanted to be in the city. That's literally the only reason. That's an average like 11.5.
Robin Leonard.
See, Robin Leonard, I mean, he got his 1 year, $5 million in Chicago, where I'll probably be a backup, which is weird. But everyone's overreacting about him leaving, but I think it's just the system that we had. I think Varlamov will do fine. I think the contract isn't great. I mean, it could be worse, could be better, but I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. I believe it's like $4 million over like 4 years or something like that. It's like
it is $5 million.
Oh, it's $5 million
per year.
Oh God.
4 years.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I'm sure he'll do fine in the system. I mean, we have good defense. We just need offense with the Islanders. That's really it. But. Yeah, that's really it. There, but no, we're still looking at contracts. Another bad one I think is Jacob Trouba with the Rangers.
Yes, that is
7 years, $56 million. So that gives an average of $8 million per year. And the problem there is that he's not a number one defenseman. He's a good defenseman. I don't think he's worth $8 million a year. I mean, that's just being straight up. Like, I don't think that's reasonable, especially with that. But there's other ones like you could say Bobrovsky getting $10 million a year for 7 years. I mean, it's a goalie who's 31 right now. Like, that one's also ridiculous. Like, you don't pay goalies. I mean, Rick DiPietro contract, that shows you why you don't pay goalies. Another one, Vasilevsky. That's another big one.
Yep.
It's bad.
I don't think, like, what's it called? The payment itself is bad. It's just the term.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
When, like, Tyler Myers getting $6 million a year for 5 years, he's 29, so that one's all right. It could be, could be much worse. I mean, I could see if Trouba got around $6 million, maybe it'd be better.
Yeah.
But there's the Pavelski contract, which is kind of interesting. It's short, 3 years. I guess it's an average length for $7 million each year, and he's 35. Another interesting one.
I mean, there's like Pavelski. I don't know. Like I don't know how to feel about that one.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. Another bad one for Pittsburgh. Brandon Tanev, 6 years. He's a center, 27, 3.5 per year, 21 million total over 6 years. For a bottom six guy, it's a bit of an overpay. But I mean, I guess the Islanders, if you think about it, paying their fourth line way too much. But that's also a thing.
Yeah, especially Clutterbuck. He has a bad contract.
I mean, other than that, I don't really see any other particularly bad contracts.
Yeah.
All of them seem reasonable. And the best contract, which was the biggest steal, was the what the hell's his name? Kevin LeBanc contract.
Yes.
$1 million.
That's.
I mean, for 1 year, like I don't get it. But yeah, that's pretty much all the bad contracts that from this year. I mean, there's obviously gonna be others, but I mean, those are pretty much a decent amount of them. Like.
Yeah.
So yeah, should we move on to trades?
Yeah, let's go to trades.
Okay, so should we just start out with the elephant in the room, PK Subban?
Why not?
I mean, we're gonna move on. I guess should we wait with that one? Move on towards the end of this. We'll go to the next. We'll wait for the next portion with the next portion. And so I mean, trades. Usually there's not that many, but it was pretty reasonable, same amount kind of thing. Like, think about it, we'll go to in this calendar year, so, well, not calendar year, but like NHL offseason kind of thing. Like, Kevin Hayes' rights got traded to Philly before they gave him the ridiculous contract for a fifth. I mean, for rights, yeah. And then there was a minor defensive swap, Niskanen for Gudas. I'm going to skip all over the rid of the minor ones. We'll just talk about the big ones. There was Oli Mata was traded to Chicago for Dominic Cahoon and a fifth. I don't know how to feel about that one because I think Oli Mata is a good defenseman. I don't know about what he's done the past few years because I haven't really paid attention to that, and I don't really know much about Cahoon. So I can't really have a big statement on that one. But, yeah, and there was the Jacob Trouba trade for Neil Pionk and Winnipeg's own first rounder to get it back, which I don't know. The Rangers are just ridiculous, and it's annoying me. But they gave him a bad contract. I guess people are just trading for bad contracts now. Justin Braun went to Philly for a second and a third. So I guess it's a solid. I mean, guess even. Guess Philly needs a defenseman. Sharks get some picks.
Yep.
The Maple Leafs salary dump of trading Marleau. So the Hurricanes really won that trade. I think they just bought out Marleau. They got a first rounder and a 7th rounder just by giving up a 6th rounder. So, I mean, that definitely is a win. At the draft, the Canucks acquired JT Miller for a minor league goalie, a third, and a conditional first, which is also a good trade, a good boost of offense for them. They don't have much cap space, but I think Vancouver, I think they might make it over the hump and make it to the playoffs this year, or if not, be very close. I think they've finally been they've made some good picks. They have probably the best system in the NHL, in my opinion. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then other than that, there was Calvin DeHaan got traded to Chicago. And
yeah. That was DeHaan and Alexi Starello, right?
Yes. Why is that guy? You know who that is? I know you know, but decent amount about the Hurricanes.
Yes. Yeah. So if you guys, so I'm actually all right. So this is the North South podcast. I live in North Carolina.
Yes, and I'm back on Long Island, but yeah, we're both Islander fans though. But he knows a decent amount about the Hurricanes, and mostly the Checkers, the Charlotte Checkers, the minor league, the AHL team.
I will say
a bunch of games
the Hurricanes prospect pool is not bad.
Yeah.
Calder Cup champions.
They're on the rise.
Yeah. Alex Nedeljkovic, remember the name.
Yeah.
Future starter.
And the Hurricanes also acquired Eric Holla.
That was in the Nicholas Waugh trade?
Yes, right? With Vegas. And they gave up a conditional 5th as well. I think the Avalanche are going to be really good this year as well. Could be one of the best teams in the league. They acquired Andrei Burakovsky for a 2nd, a 3rd, and some other random guy. Again, solid. I think the Avalanche, especially with the Duchesne trade, are like stacked. Especially having Cal McCarr. They drafted Bowen Byram.
Yeah. With
the Ottawa pick. I mean, it's crazy how good they are. But I mean, I think they're gonna be able to make some noise. Another salary dump. Yeah, you can.
In 2 years, they'll be like top 5 in the league.
So you think they'll be like Tampa? I think like the same situation will kind of happen. Like. Not getting swept, but like maybe, but Tampa level. Yeah. So another Vegas salary dump. They also sent Colin Miller to Buffalo, got a 2nd and a 5th back. So probably the biggest trade that there was sending Phil Kessel, legend, to Arizona for Galchenyuk, who's struggled so much in his career.
Yep.
I mean, he didn't really I haven't really had a fair shot yet, honestly. Like,
yeah, I like Galchenyuk.
I like him too. I just think he gets screwed.
A couple years ago, like when the Islanders traded for Eberle, they were either gonna trade for Eberle or Galchenyuk.
I mean, we could have had Taylor Hall for Travis Hamonic, but we decided not to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with Noah Dobson, but still, I would rather have Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I believe that's pretty much it. Andrew Shaw back with Chicago, and then there was Reimer for Darling, goalie swap.
Yeah, that was good for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I think the Panthers were getting rid of the Reimer contract just so they can sign Bobrovsky. Yeah. And Darling has been horrible. I know he's been in the AHL with the Checkers because he did not live up to his contract.
He was allowed. I forget what they called it. It was like. But he wasn't playing. Like, he wasn't a part of the roster. It was like some kind of leave.
Yeah, I don't know. I know because he did that bad
in
the NHL.
In the AHL.
Yeah, I don't know. He just fell off a cliff. Then Ottawa and Toronto with a salary kind of swap. I mean, Ceci and got pretty much at Ceci for Zaitsev and Connor Brown is the main pieces of it, but more just salary dumps and swaps and between the Ontario rivals.
Yep.
VC got traded to Buffalo, who's been a bum as well. And the other big trade, actually, it was
another Toronto.
Yeah, more Toronto trying to get. I mean, this was good for them, I think, even though I don't like them. Tyson Barrie and Alex Kerfoot in the 6th for Kadri, Calle Rawson in the 3rd. I mean, they had to give up their boy Kadri, but I mean, they got a good defenseman back. They got a good forward and more cap space. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much what it's all about for them. But
then Alex Nylander and Yoki Hardy.
Yeah, I don't know much about that one. Yeah, Nylander's not been as good. Then the greatest trade so far with Lucic for Neal. I mean, I understand it. Kind of mix it up. I mean, I think Edmonton got the better end of it. But, maybe you can get, if you just change the scenery, maybe someone will produce. But, yeah. But, Garrett Sparks lost 10-1 to the Islanders.
Yeah.
Let's trade to Vegas. David Clarkson's back. He's not gonna play. We already know that. It's just
Or just the contract.
And then and other than that, that's it. That's pretty much it. Callahan got traded to Ottawa. His contract, at least, because he retired for Condon and the 6. So that's Tampa freeing up space for Braden Point. As we mentioned before, we said this is the trade that we were going to mention.
Yeah.
But so we have more trades. And as we move on to like the next phase of this episode, it's going to be combined kind of with the end of the trades, but it's going to be with the Devils. Devils offseason.
Having a great offseason.
Has been amazing so far. I mean, you can't even explain how crazy it is and how many good things that they've done. I mean, Ray Shero has done an incredible job. I mean, starting out at the draft with acquiring PK Subban for only Steven Santini, Jeremy Davies, and 2 seconds. Yes, it was a low return, but they did take the whole contract, and that's why Nashville did it, because they have solid D. They just needed more offense, and they got Matt Duchene. So you might think they got fleeced, but
it worked out good.
It worked out for both teams. They got some draft picks, got some young defensemen. And the Devils get PK Subban, of course, which is crazy. Good for them. And then the other deal they made was actually just yesterday, of the time we're recording this, of getting Nikita Gusev and a second and a third, for a second and a third, actually. Excuse me. Who Gusev played in Russia the last 2 years, I believe. Was it 2? I think he was on Vegas, and then he didn't like it or something, and then he just went off to Russia.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So now he came back. Vegas had no leverage, though. They got a pretty solid return. Devils get him, get some good offense, along with them drafting Jack Hughes. I mean,
yeah, he's gonna be great.
I mean, people said Kakko is going to be better.
I feel like the rookie year,
he's better
Kakko's
now.
Going to be better.
Hughes is the higher ceiling.
Eventually, it'll be Hughes.
I mean, to be honest, I don't really want to. I still like Hughes, even though I don't want to anymore. But I mean, I hope Kakko fails. But
yeah,
I know I'm a terrible person, but. Yeah.
About to get a lot of hate.
Yeah, I know, but whatever.
Oh well.
It's our podcast. But
they're just doing a great job. I think and then Taylor Hall, all this will come into play in
his re-sign.
Taylor Hall negotiations.
Yeah. I believe that this is the last year in his deal, right?
Yeah.
And he said he might not return. He wants to play for a winner, but all this might actually, as you said, like sway him to stay with all the good additions that they've had. I mean, going back, remember 1-for-1, Larson for Hall. I mean, I don't know. Then he was the MVP. So I really.
And the Subban for Weber was also the same day. Subban's now a Devil.
Yeah. So it's all coming full circle. But I mean, they also have a couple other good guys in the system. I mean.
Yep.
They still have Corey Schneider, who I think is not. He's all right now. He's kind of getting it back, but I think they
finally
have
won a game.
Yeah, they have Mackenzie Blackwood. They probably need another like actual goalie. Like I think they're kind of not really good there, but
I was thinking that they should sign Curtis McElhinney.
That one he signed with somebody though, right?
Yeah, he went to Tampa.
Yeah, but
I remember going into July 1st.
They have some good young forwards. The Devils, I know they have Zaka. He hasn't really turned out to what they want it to be, but Jesper Bratt, I know, is good. Blake Coleman. We didn't even mention Nico Hischier, first overall pick from 2 years ago. I mean, they keep winning first overall pick, just like the Oilers with Taylor Hall. I guess he's just the reason for that. But and also their all-star and leading goal scorer in Kyle Palmieri.
Yeah.
Is also there that we didn't even mention. Also with their they traded David Quemble for John Hayden, so I guess it's another just young guy to have in the system, and good addition of Wayne Simmons for a 1-year deal, so that's not a bad contract.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they got young guys. Go back to their defense. They traded for Sammy Vatanen last year. Yeah, they got
Was
Connor.
that last year?
Oh, it might have been the year before.
Yeah.
And they got
That was a Vatanen for Henrique.
yes.
Yeah.
It was sad for them to give up Henrique, but they got Vatanen, a good defenseman. They also have Connor Carrick. They acquired at the trade deadline from Dallas, and Will Butcher, a good young defenseman who had a really good years. So, I mean, their team is something to watch. Very young, on the rise, but
And imagine if they had gotten Robin Leonard. That would have.
that would have put them over the top. Their goalies are pretty much their major issue right now. But yeah. So
should we move on?
I guess we will. So I guess our final topic of the day, I guess, is going to be a short episode, the first one here. But we got to start somewhere. It's going to be outdoor games.
Yes.
So basically, you can go.
Alright, yeah. So the only problem I have with outdoor games is that there's some years there's like 5.
My main issue usually is that it's the same teams every year. It's always Pittsburgh and Philly, and then it's the Rangers and the Blackhawks and the Bruins and the Flyers, and the Kings seem to be in it often. Like, the same teams are used over and over again, and that's why everybody gets frustrated from it, because people want to see change.
Yeah. And same with the Heritage Classic. I mean, I get that.
Well, the Heritage Classic is different, yeah. That's like I mean, that one's not really as like big here in the U.S. I mean, I don't know if it's really that big in Canada, because you don't really hear much about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like,
I mean, I just like it because the jerseys.
yeah, I think the outdoor games are cool. I just feel like it's not as big of a phenomena as it used to be.
Yeah.
Like, I used to think it was awesome, it was the coolest thing, but now it's like, oh, it's the Winter Classic. Like, you know, it's nothing. Like, nothing.
I'm sure playing in it is insane.
Well, yeah. It doesn't seem like as big of a thing as it used to be.
Yeah.
They just kind of beat it to death.
The 13-14 year when they introduced the Stadium Series. It's like the Rangers were playing in 2 Stadium Series games.
Yeah, that kind of killed it.
Heritage Classic.
I was at the Islander Stadium Series game that year. But yeah, after that, once they introduced that, you're right. That just kind of killed it.
Yeah.
Honestly. But like, I don't know.
Centennial Classic was cool with Matthews.
Yeah. The thing I
like Toronto.
I think this year's are gonna be good though, because the Winter Classic is finally a change. It's not the same. I mean, it is gonna be kind of weird that it's not in a place where it's cold. That it's in Dallas. You got Nashville going to Dallas at the Cotton Bowl. You got to get some different jerseys, which is good. Different players, different place. Just everything's different, which is gonna be good.
Back the mustard cap for Nashville.
Let's not. We gotta do a thing where we just talk about jerseys eventually. We both like to collect. Get hockey jerseys, old ones, like new ones. We like to just grow a collection. So you saw my other video, but there's gonna be videos about that too. So yeah, that's an unrelated thing, but yeah, I think it'll be a good one this year.
Yeah.
In the Stadium
Especially
Series.
like they're not really like a big. Both the Dallas and Nashville aren't like huge hockey areas.
Well, I think they've both been growing in the past few years, especially Nashville.
They've definitely been growing, but they're still not huge.
Yeah, I mean they're rising pretty fast.
Yeah, that would be a big event like that would be good.
I mean, and it could be some revenge. They had the first round series last year. Again, Nashville ended up getting first, but Nashville is they lost in the first round after their cup run. They were the underdogs. Everybody loved them, but now everybody thinks they're annoying and doesn't really like them anymore. I guess that's just how it works. But
yep.
I mean, they got to get their revenge. I guess maybe that's what it'll be against Dallas.
Yes.
Both have some good teams in the playoffs.
Go to that.
Yeah. you could discuss for the start of that.
All right, so it's the Jets and Flames. I believe the Jets. I don't think it's every year.
Yeah, I don't know. Was there one this past year?
No, I think the last one was when it was Oilers and Jets.
Yeah. So where
I
is it?
Watching that.
Where is it this year?
It is in.
Do you know the arena? Or I mean, not. It'd be outside to a stadium.
Is it in? I think it might be in Saskatchewan.
Oh, yeah, so they like mix it up. I think there's a CFL team there. That's probably where it is.
Yeah.
That's got to be it. I don't know this name of the stadium. But yeah, I mean that's really the same pretty much every year. Like the Flames are probably gonna have like the red and like orange with stripe going across the chest jersey, and like and the Jets probably gonna have the one they used 2 years ago. That's usually all the same. Like
yeah, that's one of my favorite jerseys actually. That Jets jersey.
Yeah, I really like that one. I don't know if it's better than the ones they have now, but the Jets have some good jerseys.
I mean, the Jets now, like, I like the color. I just don't like the word mark. Like, that doesn't. I don't think that looks good.
I like it because it's different. They needed something like that.
It's like decent, but I think they could have done better.
Maybe they could put that on the helmet and like put something else on like the chest, like, or add like more to the word mark. Like maybe put it like with a jet involved.
Yeah.
In it,
like something like that. I don't like it where it's just
the word mark
in a different font. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Like you want something else involved with it, like.
Yeah, it's just too boring. It's too plain. But I love the color.
Yeah. So there's the Heritage Classic. We don't really know much about that, so we can't really talk about it. But the Stadium Series, I mean, the Winter Classic is weird that it's different this year because usually they keep it's classic, so they do like old-timey jerseys with like the classic teams. That's why it's the same thing every year. The Stadium Series you can do anywhere. They've done it in California, and it's like they have more like modern style jerseys. It's just an outdoor game. So this one will be between the Los Angeles Kings and the Colorado Avalanche. I believe at the Air Force Academy. I'm pretty sure that's where it is.
Yeah.
That should be a good one. I mean, the Kings are not very good, but yeah. I know when they did it at they've been doing it all different sorts of places. They did it at the Annapolis, the Naval Academy, not last season, the season before.
That was Detroit, Colorado, right?
No, they did. It was the Toronto and Washington.
Oh, wasn't that? I thought that was the Centennial Classic.
No. Well, that one was good. That one had good uniforms as well. The Toronto all white, which was cool, and then the Capitals navy blue. Some people did not like those, but I thought they were pretty good, and that was a good game. So maybe expand to like all of like the military things. Like maybe there'll be a game in like West Point, probably without the Islanders, because that's how that works. But
I mean, North Carolina, they got Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
Thomas Grice always holds his hockey camp there. That would be pretty cool.
They gotta. Sure, they're gonna start expanding to different. Like they probably haven't ever held anything in Carolina because there is no like fans down there.
Yeah.
Like
No true fans.
No true fans. Nobody showed up for all that time. Like why would they put an outdoor game there? It's not like they'd go. Like.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It should be cool in Colorado.
I mean, that would be cool, and hopefully they would they could if they did one at Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
There's a possibility it would be the Hurricanes Islanders.
Yeah. But usually they do.
Grice has that connection.
Stadium Series is usually a night game, and then the Winter Classic's always New Year's Day during the day. The Stadium Series days vary, but yeah. So I believe that is all the outdoor games. So yeah, I think that might do it for our first episode. We discussed all of those things. We're gonna try to make as many more episodes as possible. The graphic that you see on the screen might, if you're watching this on YouTube, might change for the next one. I just had to make that one last minute. I didn't really have a design ready, so that might be fixed. So if you actually did watch this or listen to it, thank you. Let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about, and for other YouTube video ideas, because we'll both be starting to upload. So thank you all for listening in, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.